Something is happening right now to empaths all over the world that nobody is talking about. They've been quiet, some of them for months, some for years. They pulled back from friendships, walked away from relationships, left jobs, stopped answering calls, and everyone around them interpreted this as defeat, as breakdown, as the empath finally crumbling under the weight of a world they were too sensitive to handle. But Carl Jung documented something about this exact pattern that would make every person who dismissed them deeply uncomfortable. What looks like retreat is actually preparation. What looks like collapse is actually reorganization at the deepest psychological level. Jung studied individuals who went through extended periods of withdrawal and silence after years of giving themselves away, and what he found on the other side of that silence wasn't a broken person. It was someone so fundamentally restructured that the people who knew them before couldn't recognize what they'd become. He called it the return of the individuated self, and he said it was the most powerful psychological transformation a human being could undergo. Today I'm going to show you what Jung discovered about the empath's comeback, the specific psychological shifts that occur during the silent period that make this transformation irreversible, and why the version of you that's about to emerge will be unrecognizable to everyone who thought your sensitivity was weakness. Because this isn't a recovery story, this is an origin story, and it's already underway. To understand what's actually happening during the empath's comeback, you have to understand what Jung saw when he studied empaths at their lowest point. He didn't see fragile people who'd been broken by the world. He saw people who'd been running an impossible operation for decades. They'd been metabolizing other people's emotional waste since childhood, processing grief that wasn't theirs, carrying anxiety that belonged to their parents, their partners, their friends, their co-workers. Their entire nervous system had been functioning as an emotional processing plant for everyone around them, and nobody, not a single person, had ever asked whether the plant could handle the load. Jung recognized that empaths don't just feel other people's emotions. They unconsciously take responsibility for regulating those emotions. The empath in a family system becomes the one who manages everyone's mood. The empath in a relationship becomes the one who monitors their partner's emotional temperature and adjusts their own behavior to keep the peace. The empath in a workplace becomes the one absorbing team tension, so conflict doesn't erupt. They do this automatically, without conscious choice, because their nervous system was wired in childhood to treat other people's emotional states as emergencies that require immediate response. This isn't generosity. Jung was very clear about that. This is a survival pattern that got locked in place before the empath had any say in the matter. The child who learned to regulate their parents' emotions did so because an unregulated parent was dangerous. A mother spiraling into depression meant no one was watching the child. A father escalating into rage meant physical threat. So the child's nervous system learned to detect emotional shifts in others and intervene before those shifts became dangerous. That pattern saved the child's life, and then it spent the next 20 or 30 years slowly destroying the adult. Because what works in a dangerous childhood home becomes catastrophic in adult life. The empath walks through the world treating every human being's emotional state as their responsibility. They can't sit with someone's sadness without trying to fix it. They can't witness anger without trying to soothe it. They can't be in the presence of dysfunction without attempting to heal it. And every single one of these interventions costs them something: energy, time, identity. pieces of themselves they hand over so automatically they don't even notice they're doing it.